How does the settlement of Florida's LGBT education bill impact our society, and what does it mean for the future of education? This is a question that many of us might have been pondering on. It's a complex issue, with layers of implications for education, society, and the recognition of human rights. At the heart of this discussion is Florida's Parental Rights in Education Act, colloquially known as the Don't Say Gay Bill. This legislation has stirred a whirlwind of emotions and debates across the nation. It places certain restrictions on classroom curriculum, specifically prohibiting the teaching of sexual orientation and gender identity to kindergarten through third grade students, and limiting such lessons for older students. This legislation has been seen by many as a direct attack on the rights and visibility of the LGBTQ+ community within the educational sphere. But it's important to note that the law doesn't entirely silence the conversation around LGBTQ+ themes. A settlement clarified that these topics can indeed be discussed, but in an informal context, not as part of the formal curriculum. The settlement also made clear that the law doesn't ban library books with LGBTQ+ themes for instruction. This up a different avenue for students to learn about and understand the diverse experiences and identities that make up our society. Another significant aspect of the settlement is the reinstatement of gay-straight alliances in schools. These groups play a crucial role in fostering a safe, inclusive, and supportive educational environment. Their presence in schools is a victory for those who believe in the importance of creating a respectful school environment for all students. Governor Ron DeSantis, the bill's main advocate, maintains that the legislation aims to keep radical gender and sexual ideologies out of classrooms. This perspective, too, is part of the broader dialogue around the bill and its impact on education. With this understanding, we can delve into the perspectives of the different stakeholders involved in this settlement. If you found this video informative and want to stay updated on this and other issues, please like and subscribe. Join us as we continue to explore the diverse stories and perspectives that shape our world. Now let's take a closer look at the perspectives of different stakeholders. First off, let's consider the viewpoint of Governor Ron DeSantis. He maintains that the Parental Rights in Education Act, informally known as the Don't Say Gay Bill, aims to keep radical gender and sexual ideology out of classrooms. His perspective is rooted in the belief that certain topics, specifically those related to sexual orientation and gender identity, are not appropriate for discussion within the structured curriculum of early education. According to this viewpoint, such issues are best left for parents to discuss with their children at a time they deem suitable. However, this stance has been met with significant opposition. The plaintiffs, for instance, hold a different perspective. They emphasize the importance of creating a respectful and supportive school environment for all students. They argue that excluding discussions on sexual orientation and gender identity from the classroom could lead to a lack of understanding and, consequently, a lack of acceptance. They believe that education should be inclusive, recognizing and respecting the diversity of students' identities. In a significant victory for the plaintiffs, the settlement allowed for the reinstatement of gay-straight alliances in schools. These student-led organizations aim to create a safe, inclusive, and supportive environment for students of all sexual orientations and gender identities. They serve as a platform for dialogue, understanding, and acceptance, fostering an inclusive school culture where every student feels seen and valued. The settlement also clarified that LGBTQ+ topics are not completely off the table. While they cannot be included in the formal curriculum for certain age groups, they can be discussed informally. This means that while they won't be a part of structured lessons, students can still learn about and discuss these topics in a more casual setting, such as during after-school activities or in student-led clubs. In the end, both sides of the debate have valid concerns. On one hand, there's the argument for parental rights, for allowing parents to introduce sensitive topics at their discretion. On the other hand, there's the push for inclusivity, for recognizing and respecting the diversity of students' identities within the educational setting. These diverse perspectives add layers of complexity to the implications of the settlement. Next, we explore potential future implications. The settlement of Florida's LGBT education bill could have far-reaching implications. Let's take a moment to consider the potential effects this settlement might have on the landscape of education. not just in Florida, but possibly across the United States. What might the future look like? Firstly, there's the question of curriculum development. The bill prohibits formal curriculum on sexual orientation and gender identity for kindergarten through third grade students, and restricts such lessons for older students. So, how will educators navigate this? It's likely that curriculum developers will need to exercise great care and creativity to ensure that education remains comprehensive and sensitive to all aspects of human experience. The challenge will be to find a balance between adhering to legislative constraints and providing an education that prepares students for a diverse and inclusive world. Then, let's think about teacher-student interactions. The settlement clarifies that LGBTQ+ topics can be discussed informally, but not as part of the formal curriculum. This could potentially lead to a paradigm shift in the way educators communicate with their students. They might need to become more adept at facilitating open, informal conversations, fostering an environment where students feel safe to explore and express their identities. What about the ripple effects beyond Florida? The settlement might influence the treatment of LGBTQ+ topics in other states' education systems. It could serve as a precedent, prompting other states to reevaluate their own education policies. Alternatively, it could trigger a pushback, leading to more stringent laws elsewhere. The pathway is uncertain, but the impact is likely to reverberate across state lines. And then there's the potential impact on the mental health and well-being of students. School is a significant part of a young person's life, and the environment it provides can have a profound effect on their development. By allowing for the reinstatement of gay-straight alliances in schools, the settlement ensures a more inclusive educational environment. This could contribute to better mental health outcomes for LGBTQ+ students, who often face higher rates of bullying and mental health challenges. But let's not forget, these are all hypotheses. The true impact of the settlement will only become clear with time, as we observe how it plays out in real-world scenarios. Each potential implication we've discussed brings its own set of challenges and opportunities, and it's up to educators, policymakers, parents, and students themselves to navigate these complexities. While we can only speculate on the future implications, the settlement undeniably marks a significant moment in the ongoing discussion about inclusivity and diversity in education. In light of these discussions, we see that the settlement of Florida's LGBT education bill raises critical questions. The bill, known as the Don't Say Gay bill, sends ripples through the fabric of education, shaking the very foundation upon which academic freedom stands. We have analyzed the perspectives of various stakeholders in this unfolding narrative. The supporters of the bill, including Governor DeSantis, argue that it keeps radical gender and sexual ideology out of classrooms. They believe it's about protecting the innocence of young minds, allowing parents the right to control the narrative of their children's education. On the other hand, the critics of the bill see it as an infringement on academic freedom, stifling the ability of teachers to educate students on critical and relevant issues. They argue that it limits the scope of a comprehensive education and can potentially perpetuate ignorance and discrimination. The settlement, while still maintaining the law, clarifies its scope. It allows for the discussion of LGBTQ+ topics informally, but restricts it from being part of the formal curriculum. It also ensures the reinstatement of gay-straight alliances in schools, striving to create a safe and inclusive educational environment. Looking forward, the implications of this settlement reach far and wide. It sets a precedent for the balance between parental rights and academic freedom. It questions the nature of education. Should it simply mirror the beliefs of the society, or should it challenge them and foster critical thinking? It brings to the forefront the role of education in building inclusive societies. This conversation is far from over. It's a complex issue, intertwined with our views on education, parenthood, and the society we aspire to build. As we continue to navigate the evolving landscape of education, it is essential to engage in these complex conversations with open minds and respectful dialogue. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it insightful. Stay tuned for more discussions.